Everything changes the moment a strange call goes silent in the middle of the night. A missing witness, a trail with no clues, and a case that pulls Hudson and Rex into one of the most unpredictable mysteries they've ever faced. Season 8 doesn't just return with new episodes, it returns with danger that feels closer, smarter, and more personal than ever before. And as the city grows quieter, the stakes grow louder, pushing Hudson and Rex to trust their instincts like never before, from the very beginning. The bond between Charlie Hudson and Rex has been the heart of every case they take on. Charlie sharp, calm, and always thinking 3 steps ahead relies on logic and experience. Rex fast, fearless, and almost impossibly intuitive relies on something deeper. Together, they form a team that solves what others can't, not because they're perfect, but because their strengths fit together like puzzle pieces. Over the seasons, their bond has gone beyond partnership. It has become something unshakable, built through trust, danger, and every narrow escape that shaped their journey. As the last season came to an end, the team found themselves navigating more than just crimes. Jesse balanced his tech brilliance with the pressure of handling heavier responsibilities. Sarah faced new challenges in the lab as the cases became more complex and emotionally charged. Joe Donovan felt more protective of the team than ever, watching them grow but knowing the world they work in never stops testing them. And through it all, Hudson and Rex continue to show why their connection remains the strongest weapon the precinct has. Now, Season 8 steps in with a promise of deeper stories and tighter turns. The city they protect is entering a phase where crime has become smarter, faster, and hidden behind layers of digital footprints, unpredictable motives, and strangers who blend into the crowd without leaving a trace. Hudson senses that something about this new wave of cases feels different, not random, not isolated, but connected by a pattern only visible to those who know how to look beyond the obvious. And Rex, with his instincts sharper than ever, feels the tension before anyone else does. The season begins by reminding us why this partnership works so well. Every clue Hudson studies, Rex senses. Every risk Rex takes, Hudson understands without question. Their teamwork is more than method, it's instinct. They move as if they're reading the same invisible map. But where previous seasons brought danger from the outside, this time the pull feels personal. Old fears resurface. New threats rise quietly. And the team realizes that solving the next set of cases won't be about finding evidence, it will be about staying one step ahead of someone who already knows their strengths and weaknesses. As they move through the new episodes, the tone becomes sharper. The cases speak in shadows rather than footprints. Witnesses vanish before giving answers. Crimes unfold with cold precision. And every lead forces Hudson to push himself harder while Rex senses something shifting beneath the surface, something they can't yet name, but feel growing closer. What makes this build-up so intense is the way the series balances emotion with suspense. The characters aren't just solving crimes, they're evolving through them. Season 8 opens the door to a world where trust becomes the most important clue of all. Hudson begins to question whether every open and shut case is truly finished. Rex becomes more alert, reacting to things no one else notices. The team feels the storm forming before the first strike arrives. And as they prepare for the challenges ahead, one thing becomes clear. This season will test not just their skills, but the strength of their bond, the depth of their courage, and the limits of how far they're willing to go to protect the truth. Season 8 begins with a shift that feels subtle at first, almost quiet, like the calm before a storm. But for Hudson and Rex, even small changes can signal something bigger. From the first episode onward, the tone feels heavier, more focused, as if the city itself is holding its breath. Crimes no longer come from simple motives or careless mistakes. They arrive with purpose, with planning, and with a level of detail that suggests someone out there is studying the team just as closely as they study every case. This season doesn't just raise the stakes, it questions the very ground the characters stand on. Charlie Hudson starts noticing patterns that don't fit the usual rhythm of the city. Cases that look unrelated at first begin to reveal tiny threads connecting them, threads easy to miss unless you've spent years reading crime scenes like a second language. A missing person who leaves behind no digital trace. A high-profile robbery executed with military precision. A witness who changes their statement 3 times but never slips up. To most detectives, these details would look random, but Hudson sees the edges of something bigger forming. Something that makes him uneasy in a way he refuses to admit out loud. Rex, however, feels it instantly. His senses sharpen during every investigation. He reacts faster, tracks harder, and becomes more alert, especially in places where nothing seems wrong. It's as if his instincts know that danger isn't approaching, it's already here, watching them from a distance, waiting for the right moment. The bond between him and Hudson grows stronger under this pressure. Without speaking, they understand when to move, when to pause, and when something feels off even if there's no evidence yet. Rex pushes further than usual, refusing to let Hudson walk into a situation without being at his side. Jesse, too, feels the weight of Season 8's shift. His role with digital forensics becomes critical as crimes grow increasingly tied to technology-encrypted messages, invisible networks, anonymous accounts that vanish seconds after appearing. He dives deeper into digital trails, sometimes working through nights just to find a single clue that will help the team stay ahead. His usual humor is still there, but it's softer now, balanced with a seriousness that shows how much responsibility he carries. Meanwhile, Sarah finds herself examining evidence that breaks her usual pattern, samples that lead nowhere. Timelines that contradict themselves, physical clues that seem planted rather than naturally formed. For the first time in years, she begins to question whether someone is trying to manipulate not just the investigation, but the investigators. Her frustration blends with determination as she searches for answers buried behind layers of distraction. Joe Donovan takes a more protective stance toward the team. He senses that they're being pushed into a game where the rules are constantly shifting. His instinct as a leader sharpens. He becomes more cautious, double-checking every risk the team takes. Yet he knows stopping them is impossible. Hudson and Rex are at their best when the world around them becomes chaotic. Still, he worries. And in Season 8, worrying is never a good sign. What makes this season unique is how the tension doesn't explode all at once. Instead, it builds slowly, weaving itself into every case. Each solved mystery leaves behind one question that remains unanswered. Each victory feels slightly incomplete. And as the team begins to notice these cracks, they realize they might not be dealing with isolated threats. There could be a larger force at work, someone who understands how they think, how they move, and how to stay one step ahead without ever being seen. Season 8 isn't just about crime, it's about pressure. It's about secrets hiding in plain sight and the feeling that someone is always watching. Hudson becomes more guarded. Rex becomes more restless. The team becomes more united than ever, sensing the storm forming. And with every case they solve, the truth grows closer. Waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself, Season 8 moves deeper into the shadows with a case that becomes the turning point for everything that follows. It begins with an investigation that seems straightforward, a routine inquiry about a missing consultant who vanished on his way home. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, no suspicious activity on nearby cameras. At first, it feels like another case where time is the enemy, but nothing more. Yet as Hudson steps into the man's empty apartment, something about the silence feels wrong. Not the kind of wrong that comes from fear or sudden disappearance, but the kind that feels planned, clean, careful, and almost too perfect. Rex senses it immediately, pacing the room, pausing at odd places, breathing the air as if searching for a truth hidden between the walls. The deeper they look, the more the case begins to challenge them. Every clue they find seems honest, yet somehow staged. A broken picture frame that fell too cleanly. Footprints near the back door that don't match weather conditions from the night before. A phone locked with a new password the missing person never used. None of these pieces scream foul play, but together they speak in a whisper. Someone wanted the scene to look normal. And that whisper grows louder with every step they take. Hudson knows the patterns of real crime scenes, and this one behaves like a puzzle created for someone patient enough to peel away its layers. Rex follows an invisible trail down hallways, through alleys, and across quiet streets. He's drawn to sense that fade too fast, as if someone deliberately masked them. This makes Rex more intense than usual, pulling with urgency, refusing to give up even when the clues begin to contradict each other. It's in these moments that Hudson understands Rex is sensing something no one else can fear: deception, or a hidden presence that lingers close but remains unseen. Their partnership becomes the pulse of the investigation, guiding the team through turns that feel more psychological than physical. Meanwhile, Jesse uncovers a strange detail in the man's digital footprint. The consultant had been accessing classified financial models that didn't belong to his department. Strange transfers, hidden logs, encrypted communication, they all point towards something much bigger than a simple disappearance. But the strangest part is that every digital trail ends at the same exact moment, 2:13 a.m., a time that repeats across multiple devices like a silent signature. For Jesse, this isn't coincidence. Someone wiped the data with surgical precision, leaving behind only the timestamp, as if daring the team to notice it. Sarah's work in the lab deepens the mystery. Her tests reveal fibers from a material she's never seen before, a synthetic blend too advanced to be commercial. The fibers appear on the missing man's jacket but nowhere else in the apartment, suggesting he encountered someone wearing specialized gear shortly before vanishing. The more she investigates, the more it feels like the case isn't just about a missing person, it's about someone who moved through the victim's life with intention and left almost nothing behind. Joe Donovan grows increasingly uneasy. The case feels wrong in a way he can't explain. Every lead opens a door, and behind each door is another question. He begins to suspect they aren't chasing a criminal, they're following a message. A message left by someone who knows how the team works. Someone who understands their methods well enough to stay hidden yet close enough to watch their progress. As the investigation tightens, Hudson experiences something he rarely admits: doubt. The clues feel manipulated, guiding him along a path someone else designed. He senses that he and Rex aren't chasing the suspect. They're being watched. And Rex's sudden moments of tension, ears raised, body still, eyes fixed on empty corners, only strengthen that fear, though the case begins with one missing man. It slowly reveals the outline of a much larger mystery, a mind at work behind the scenes, testing them, studying them, and preparing them for something far more dangerous. The case becomes the backbone of Season 8's rising tension. It shapes the team's interactions, strains their confidence, and forces them to question every assumption. The missing consultant is just the first thread. Pulling it begins to unravel. A web that reaches into hidden networks, shadows of past investigations, and a mastermind who seems to know their every move. As the investigation moves closer to the truth, a strange shift begins to unfold, one that doesn't come from new evidence, but from the unsettling realization that someone has been leading them along from the very beginning. What starts as a missing person case slowly reveals signs of a bigger system working in the background. Patterns appear not only in the clues, but in the timing, the locations, and even the mistakes that seemed convenient to be real. Hudson senses that every step they take is being studied. Every discovery is expected, and every move is exactly what the unseen mastermind wanted them to make. Rex becomes the signal of change before anyone else understands what's happening. He reacts in places where nothing seems unusual. He stops at doors that appear untouched. He stands still in rooms that seem quiet. His instincts grow more urgent, as if he feels a presence the human eye can't capture. Hudson begins to trust these moments more than any lab result or digital record. Because when Rex hesitates, danger usually isn't far behind. And lately, Rex has been hesitating more than ever. The moment that shifts everything comes late one night when Hudson reviews the case files alone. He notices something strange in the background of a traffic camera shot, an almost invisible reflection on a window across the street. It's not a person or a vehicle. It's a blurred shape that shouldn't be there, yet it appears in multiple frames taken hours apart. The shape stays in the same spot, as if watching from a distance. It's faint, barely noticeable, but enough to spark a theory Hudson hoped wasn't true. Someone has been following them silently, not interfering, not attacking, just watching and learning. Jesse digs deeper into the timestamp that appears in every wiped log to 13 a.m. After running multiple tests, he realizes the time isn't connected to the missing minutes connected to them. For weeks, someone has been observing the team's schedule, using their patterns to hide digital footprints at the exact moment when no one would see them. This discovery sends chills through the precinct. It means the enemy isn't just a criminal, they're a strategist who has studied every weakness and every habit of the Hudson and Rex team. Sarah's latest lab findings add another unexpected twist. The strange synthetic fibers found on the victim's jacket contain microscopic residue linked to a research lab that closed years ago. The lab specialized in developing advanced materials for government contracts, including stealth suits and tactical gear designed to leave no forensic trace behind. If the fibers came from someone connected to that research, then the person they're chasing has access to tools far beyond anything the team usually encounters. Joe Donovan struggles with the weight of the new information. For the first time in a long while, he feels genuinely unsettled. The team is known for solving the toughest cases, but this one feels engineered to challenge them at every level. The more clues they gather, the clearer it becomes that the opponent is not simply avoiding capture, they're testing boundaries, observing reactions, and shaping the investigation like a game. Joe realizes that if this mastermind decides to make a move, the team might not be prepared for what comes next. The emotional tension grows inside the team. Hudson becomes more focused, more intense, driven by the need to stay ahead of a threat he can't see. But there's also something else behind his determination: fear. Not fear for himself, but for Rex and for the team that has stood beside him through countless dangers. Rex senses Hudson's worrying and becomes even more protective, staying closer, reacting faster, refusing to leave his side during key moments of the investigation. The twist hits when they discover that the missing consultant wasn't chosen at random. He had unknowingly access to encrypted file connected to the mastermind's old experiments. This made him a target not because of what he did, but because of what he saw without realizing it. His disappearance was the beginning, not the end, a warning, a message. A way of telling Hudson and Rex that they are stepping into territory where the rules of ordinary crime no longer apply. As the episode ends, the team finds themselves standing in the middle of a storm they can't fully see yet. The mastermind remains hidden, the answers remain incomplete, and the case transforms from a search for a missing man to a battle of intelligence, instinct, and endurance. The final moment leaves the audience with a sense of rising tension. Rex grows restless, staring at a dark hallway as if someone is standing there. Hudson's eyes follow the direction of Rex's gaze. But the hall is empty, or at least it appears to be. Season 8 sets the stage for a confrontation that hasn't happened yet, but feels closer with every passing episode. The enemy is watching. The clues are shifting, and the truth is waiting to break through the surface when the team least expects it. This season promises deeper twists, stronger emotional stakes, and a threat unlike anything Hudson and Rex have ever faced.